Go on. Just let it fly right before. Perfect. We're gonna work on the music thing. We should be able to do music. Yeah, I think we can do music. We could probably feed it in over the mic port. That'd be cool. Shoulder. Woo! Oh boy, it's another exciting Saturday. Yay. I guess. Hello! I'm awake. Well, that makes one of us. What's good from SoCal? You. Oh. Hey! Hi, California. So we need to work on you using your laptop instead, so you can do the search.
Oh, that's probably the best idea.
Yeah. Do you have your laptop?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we both need to be off a camera at the same time. But...
No, it's fine.
Here, we'll just disconnect this one. Good day, everyone. I hope everyone is having a spectacular week. For those of you that are, like, don't catch us during the week and we're like, how come we didn't have any videos this week? I want to apologize. This week was a marathon of trying to get the installer and Trusted Tech videos done, and suffice it to say, I did. So very happy about that. Very happy about that.
Saludos, Jose. Happy Halloween to everyone over there and the little kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Candy time.
Yes, of course. I got.
So we'll make this quick. We'll get out of here in 5 minutes. We'll just so we know go do right. No, you don't care. No. Okay. All right. So, let's see if this turns on now. Hey, it did.
Yeah.
Let's see how many minutes we get. All right, yep,
yes, you're here.
Happy Halloween.
Have you guys worked on the Lotus?
Oh, we got 18 minutes.
I don't remember what Lotus it was. The yellow one.
The what? Lotus.
The Lotus.
Lotus. Yeah, there's only
Yes, we put a radio in there.
Wasn't anything
that was nothing crazy. He just want to change the radio, something with Bluetooth, and that's it.
Charging that until we actually need it. Fernando, don't miss. Davis and Leo Santa Cruz on Showtime.
Oh yeah.
Oh, a boxing match? Do you have Showtime?
I don't have Showtime, but I can go.
Hello from Kentucky. Do you guys need any apprentices? No. But thank you for asking. No, that would be fun. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Happy Halloween. That was a good one. I like that one. Way to go, Robert Van Hoyt, winner of the kicker giveaway. Anybody else on here get any unmasked giveaways?
Prizes, yeah.
Prizes and fun stuff like that. Tennessee.
What do you want me to get in here?
Just load in like PAC, iData, and Metra. That way, if I need them, that way it would just be so much easier. I mean, you could have this running.
Yeah.
In the feed. Thoughts on old school Autotech amps? I have a Autotech Mean Machine 300 from about old time. Should I invest in a newer amp or use this one? So here, all right, we'll just use this as a blanket statement for all old amplifiers. There's no reason not to use an old amplifier. However, if the old amplifier has an attachment to you, so for example, like I have the old Orion 225 HECA that most of you guys have seen in the videos, it works. However, it will never be used in a car again because it works now, and it's old. And sometimes electronics they're not made to last 20, 30 years like that amplifier has been. They're just not made to do that. I would much rather have that amplifier not smell like burnt amplifier and just like know that if I ever hook power to the light will come on and I'll be happy. However, if you don't have that attachment to the product, then why not? Go ahead, use it. Yeah, I mean, however, I would see what kind of attachment other people have on it. If it's in good condition, you may want to think about selling it. finding someone that does have an affinity for the old school stuff, and then take that money and buy something that's new. Because I can tell you right now, the newer amplifier is going to be way better. Way better. And especially if you have a newer car, I would definitely want to get a newer amplifier that has a more efficient power supply to deal with these cars that are just like, I don't want to give you any power to turn on your amplifiers. Oh, for the love of God, really? So that's my thought.
All right, my Kenwood head unit has 2 volts outputs, DMX 4707. Will I get better sound if you upgrade it to the head unit with the 4 volt?
So, twice as much power, half as much noise. That was the phrase that Alpine came out with years and years ago when they talked about adding a 4 volt preamp section to what was a 2 volt. So now you have this much signal as opposed to this much signal, and you have this much noise, this much signal. So double the output, half as much noise.
So the answer is
kind of funny. Because yes, I would if this was olden times, maybe we should name this show Old School Car Stereo. If this was back in the day where amplifiers really benefited from that 4 volts of output, not saying that they don't now. However, they definitely benefit more from it back then. All right.
Yeah.
Why does this keep wanting? Oh no! Why does this keep? Put heart. Wow. Why is that?
Hey, Agapo, ¿cómo estás?
Okay, that was weird.
Via Texas.
Anyways, sorry, I got sidetracked. My laptop was going to sleep, and I'm like, why is it doing that? Shouldn't
tired.
She's been working.
He's been working too, so.
So anyways, will you benefit from it? It depends. And why I say it depends is, let's look at it this way. If I've got a nice radio, so let's say I have...
you have a nice radio.
Let's say I have a nice radio that doesn't have a 4 volt output, meaning it's got a decent Bluetooth, it's got a decent DAC. Everything about it is top notch, except it doesn't have 4 volt output. So if I go to buy a 4 volt radio, I mean, granted, they're not super expensive now. They're in that $300, $350 price range, maybe $400. For $400, what could I buy that would give me a substantial sound difference than just getting something with 4 volts output? What would I buy?
A better radio.
No, instead of buying a better radio.
Well, a DSP.
I got okay.
Yeah.
I'm like
lobbying.
I'm underhanding.
No, but like, okay, you have it, but
for $400,
yes.
Okay, what can you buy for $400? $400, I can get into a DSR1. I could get it. Well, the Helix is $5.
Well, I mean, you
I
spend a little bit more money, but you get a Ground Zero 6.
Ground Zero. I can get into a Tweak. Okay, and all these things are going to have 4 volt outputs, and they're going to have a DSP.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm thinking keep the 2 volt radio, get a DSP. Don't buy a Dayton, but get a DSP.
You get more from the DSP than the radio.
Correct.
Yes, definitely.
Totally.
David, thank you so much, man, for the $10. Always keep it nice.
Did you get the Flying 99 before that?
I'm gonna get a Fly 99. He dropped $5. 1,000 watts RMS single channel amplifier and 2 4-ohm 10s. MH Dynamics ID subs RMS is 300 watts. Are you in trouble? Better to get subs with higher RMS?
I'm going to answer this with a story, as I often do, because it's kind of what I do. Years ago, back when I was younger and had more hair, I wanted to build a super loud system in the cab of my Ram. I had a single cab Ram. And at the time, Kenwood had an obscene employee purchase program. Like, it was dumb. Like dumb. Yeah. Like, you're just like, give me the navigation system. Why not? Yeah. I mean, it's almost free. This is back when navigation systems were $1,200, okay? And I can tell you the whole system I bought wasn't anywhere near that because it was just that good of a deal. So, at the time, Kenwood made these giant amplifiers, big amplifiers, and they had these motorized doors that went open and closed. And so I bought 2 big mono blocks, and I bought 2 big 4-channels. I only needed 1 4-channel. I don't know why I bought 2. So I took the 4-channel, which was a stupid amount of power, and I put them on a set of 7x10s. That's right, not 6x9s, 7x10s. Why not, right?
Yeah.
So I took Like it was stupid amount of power. I mean, it was like 500 watts, so it was like 250 by 2. And I put them on these 7 by 10s. All right. These things had like max power of 120 watts, and I was doubling that. And I was not going to be nice. All right. Like people don't send me stuff to see if I can break it because I'm nice to things. Yeah. I beat them up like redhead stepchilds. I smacked the daylights out of these, and I still have those 7 by 10s, by the way, and they still work. They're in my attic.
Nice.
I don't have the amplifiers, which is really the sad part, because those were the much cooler thing. But my point is, as long as you're playing these things properly, meaning you set up your gain, you get the crossovers right, if you're going to use bass boost, you use that the right way, there's no reason why these speakers won't handle the power you're going to give them. It's everything else that makes bad things bad, okay? So if you have a 1,000 watt amp, that's 500 by 2. Let's assume that it's a real 500 by 2 and it's not something that just put a 1,000 watt sticker on it that Derek, is going to be like on his video, or Ridiculous or whatever he calls himself comes out. So let's assume that numbers are real. And your subwoofers are 300 watts with more than likely a 600 watt peak. All right? So that's a perfect system right there. You're going to be good. Now, when you're setting up your gains, you don't have to go to -5 or -10 dBs of overlap. You might have enough headroom just leaving it at 0 dB, which means if you ever blow those subwoofers, you'd be doing some really, really mean stuff to them. So yeah, it wouldn't even be a question. If you handed me a 1,000 watt amp and these two woofers, I'd be like, let's go. It'll work fine.
All right. I'm going to get to his question real quick.
Go ahead.
Dev, no. He was talking about the GC DSP is the same as the Dayton. No, it's not. It's not. And
okay, they look very similar.
Correct.
Okay?
Like the software is gonna be similar.
Let me pose you another thing that looks very similar. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt some people. Alpine makes a PDX V9 5-channel amplifier. Okay, very similar. There's another company, JL Audio, makes an amplifier that's basically identical to it. I wonder why that is. The heatsink is a little different, which I mean, when you look at the Ground Zero, I guess the only difference physically between the Ground Zero and the Dayton is, well, the software for one is totally different. And if you're going to say, well, it's very similar software, well, in that case, everybody uses that software, and I mean that everybody. Alpine uses that software. Nakamichi uses that software, and there's a half dozen other DSPs we have up on the shelf that use that software.
Dynamics.
Yeah. Audio Dynamics.
Yeah.
But there's other companies too that use that software. They just pay more to have it skinned differently.
Correct, and that's what we're talking about. Like, and people
what
want
I'm
more.
getting at is, this is a conversation we always have to have. There's build houses, okay? Meaning, you go to a build house and you say, I need this. What do you have? Okay.
What can I get for $300?
What can I get for $150?
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, you can get this. I have this piece of aluminum. I have this RCAs, and I can tell you that the Ground Zero is not the same as the Dayton.
Correct.
There's a whole different group of people that had to do this on this and that. Okay, they're not the same.
What's up, Jason? And stay tuned because we're gonna do a review on that.
Oh yeah, we have the DSP. We'll talk all about it.
We're gonna talk about it.
And this was one of the conversations that we had with Ground Zero before we agreed to do it. It was like, I'm gonna hear this all the time. It's like, oh, it looks just like the Dayton.
All right, I got KBR Customs. Ooh. $4.99. Thank you, man. Do I need the kicker key lock if I have both kicker key amplifiers?
No. You don't. The key lock is built into the key amplifiers. It's the derivative of each other. So if you have a key amplifier, then you don't need the key lock. The key lock would be if you want to turn somebody's else's amplifier into a key amplifier. So let's say you buy a key 501 and I want a 1,000 watt amp. Well, you just buy another key 501. But let's say you want a 2,000 watt amp, or you want to run, let's say, the 2400 on some subs. Well, if you buy a key lock, you can turn anybody's amplifier into a key amplifier. That's the whole idea behind it. So if you want anybody's amp and you're like, man, I wish I had a key amp, just buy the key lock. You turn their amp into a key and you're done. It's like magical. It's like so easy.
David, is this
reverse person? No, because I'm not cussing. There's no cussing going on.
Yeah, don't cuss here.
Yeah. This one is Disney approved.
All right, somebody asked, where can I learn about the Tweak 88? We have a video.
Yeah, so the Saturday
show, this live video, just type JL Twig 88 DSP, and we go through all the stuff.
Yeah.
Show you little things.
We take you step by step through the setup process, which we will be doing next week on on the Ground Zero DSP, not the Mini. We're going to do it on the Pro. So we'll be talking about the Pro software next week, where we take a half hour of the show and we just kind of go over the setup process and do a little bit of touchy-feely on it. So you guys, because DSP is a scary thing, we totally understand. Mm-hmm. So if we can demystify some of it and be like, hey, this isn't that difficult. Okay, just demystify it. We'll leave it at that.
All right. Hey guys, wonder if you guys have the new JBL Club Series amplifiers. If you so, what are your thoughts?
We do not. Mm-hmm. We have the DSP, which is over there on the wall, which hopefully we'll get that in the car this week. These last 2 weeks have screwed up everything for us because it was like, Kicker Week en masse! Woo! Yeah! We're gonna do crazy stuff! And then it was like, we were planning for that.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, hey, you gotta get those videos done for Installer of the Year, Trusted Tech. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Crap. So this week is literally just, it was that. And it was like every night going home. Each video took 2 nights. Granted, it wasn't as bad as last year because we've learned a lot since last year, but still, they're done. And I showed them Fernando. He's the only person that's seen them, and will be the only person that sees them until the judges see them. And we're still deciding. I don't know if it's something I want to share. I might have to edit it a little bit because there's some things in there that aren't really made for this type of a medium, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel in a month. By then, I might be like, you know what? Screw this. I'm over this. Let's just do it. You guys have fun with it, bro.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
All right, Bill. He dropped $20. Thank you, Bill.
No, dude. That should be a shirt. Andrew Venn. That should be a shirt. DSP equals wizardry.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, I love that. If I put text on shirts, it would totally be a shirt. And speaking of shirts, real quick before you go on. As we all know, what is coming up fastly approaching. It's vote time, people. Vote Fernando. Whether it's for this election or the next, you might want to pick up one of these shirts. God, I love it when it does that. You might want to pick up one of these shirts because, hey, making America base again, guys. Who doesn't want to wear that into the election booth? I can tell you right now, if you order that shirt today, you will not have it in time for election. However, you will have it in time for the next election. Or you just wear it around and be like, I'm supporting a cause. So check it out. You can find that at teespring.com/store/5star.
All right. Like I say, thank you, Bill, for the $20. 2017 A4 Audi.
Audi, yeah.
Yeah, non-VO. Non-BO.
Ooh, okay.
Research tells me that the speakers come off from the head unit in the glove box.
Correct.
No amp. It has nav. Would I need the LC7i? Thank you both for making me trust this one. Okay.
Correct on all accounts. And you can probably find a T-harness for that easily too, because that's just going to be a standard European harness. So if you go to like metroonline.com and type in the make, model, and year, you're going to find, or if you just pull the radio out, that's going to be a standard German harness. So you will be able to find an easy enough T-harness for it. Now, back to the original question. Should I get an LC7i? Yes, if all you're trying to do is high level to low level. Dude, did the air turn off again?
No, still on.
God, it got hot there.
I know.
Yeah, so an LC7i would be wonderful if you're just looking to go high level, low level. However, something else to think about is maybe a DM608 if you want to go full DSP. However, if you look, oh, Johnny, what's up, buddy? Sorry,
oh, wow.
I just made your life rough on editing. However, if you would like to do something that's kind of a hybrid between the two.
Yes.
Then pick up this guy right here. This is the LCQ1. Now, the LCQ1 is it's the same as the LC7i.
You are too far.
It has all the same inputs as an LC7i, but it has a full EQ on it that is, you know, dials and switches and knobs and fun stuff like that that makes everyone's life like super cool. Give this a second. This will turn on. I forgot to charge it this week. You know, you'd think I'd done this stuff before and knew what the heck I was doing. You'd be wrong. All right, let's see if it's up yet. No, nope, coming. All right, it's coming.
Yet, not yet.
Give it a second.
It takes
and we'll zoom in on top. But the nice thing about the LCQ1, it has the AccuBase circuit built into it, just like the LC7i. It is legit an LC7i with a bunch of equalization, cool stuff built into it. So if you're ready to make it sound better, but you're like, DM608, I don't know, I don't want to do the whole laptop thing.
Yeah.
Well, then, there we go.
Oh, look at that.
And this guy here, as you can see on the top band, you have 6 bands for front channel, 6 bands for rear channel, and then 5 bands plus AccuBase for the subwoofer. Simple, easy to use knobs, and these are plus or minus 12 dBs of adjustment. So, like, literally, just a hair on this will make your system sound phenomenal. Oh yeah, that's phenomenal with a capital PH.
All right, my Apple CarPlay.
Sue's gonna be like, "You're an idiot."
Why?
I don't know. All right, go ahead.
All right, so my Apple CarPlay periodically.
What? Periodically.
That's what I say.
That's exactly
I don't know
what you said.
hear.
I don't know what I heard.
Yes, okay. It cuts out on my Pioneer NEX 7600. Any thoughts? I tried 3 different phones.
Did you try 3 different cables?
3D.
I
No,
mean,
you don't have 3D. Just change the cable. Make sure it's up to date.
Yeah.
On
So
the Pioneer.
yeah, there's only a handful of things that we found over the years that cause problems. There's the air turning on with CarPlay or Android Auto.
Yes.
90% of the time, it is a cable issue. And by cable issue, I mean either the cable you're using or the cable between the radio and the receipt where you're plugging in. So if it's a radio and you have the Pioneer cable coming out with it, then generally that's not a problem. But if you have like what we call the nickel mounted on the dash that you plug your USB into, some of those suck really, really bad. So those can cause issues there. But it's usually just the cable itself. Especially if you've tried 3 different phones and you're still having issues. What we've done in the past, we've pulled the radio out and plugged the cable directly into the radio just to see if that causes the issue. If that resolves the issue, then we know we have a bad cable somewhere else and we move on from there. The only other thing, like Fernando said, is a software update. Apple, of course, just came out with the whole new OS, yippity-doo, and that did cause a bunch of problems right off the bat. Depending on the Pioneer, they may or may not have addressed the issue yet. So I would periodically go and check to see, and you can see the model number, or you can see the software version you have on your radio in the About section of the radio.
Correct. All right. Are you guys going to get the Pack and Pro Sub to test? Do you think it will work with both premium and not premium systems?
It'll only work in, on a Ford, it'll only work on a Sony system. On a GM, it'll work in both Bose and non-Bose. Just like the way, so it's essentially an Amp Pro. It's an Amp Pro that when we discussed how, it's an Amp Pro that is going to have one RC output that's crossed over at 120 hertz. That's it. So it's the same exact product that is out now. So whatever the one that's out now will do, the Amp Pro should be able to do. Every piece of information I've gotten on it so far has been that it's identical. So it should have dip switch 3 for the Chevys, and then Dodge is just Dodge. So Dodge will just plug it in and it'll work.
Germán Medina.
But I'm sorry. It will not work on the Dodge non-amplified because in order for it to do that changeover, you have to be going with a fully amplified system. So if you're not going to, you can only do the non-amplified Dodge if you're adding all new amplifiers. Okay, now go.
On pause.
On pause.
Germán Medina, llámanos a 727. I forgot this.
Phone number here?
Yeah, the phone number.
216-6170.
216-6170. Llámanos y si no te sientes a gusto hablando con Paul, le puedes decir que me llame y podemos platicar acerca de tu sistema.
I'm Jamanosing.
Yeah.
According to Fro, Jason, as we like to call him, as his other name is, there has been an update for Pioneers, so make sure you head over to pioneerelectronics.com and check that out and get it. Fernando, freeze. One time.
Are you guys going to put the Audison APF 8.9 in your vehicle soon?
Soon? No. Nothing's gonna happen soon.
What soon means?
Yeah, soon. God, I wish. Oh, and if you didn't catch the news show, for all you guys that are big fans of Audison, such as myself, they just came out with a monoblock, 1,000-watt monoblock that's the same size as the Forza. So now what we have is the Prima 8.9 with their 500-watt amp, which are both small, cute, and sexy. And we have the Forza, which is the bigger amplifier, 8.9, and now they have a sub-amp to match. Super excited about that because the SR, even though those are freaking awesome, they didn't match perfectly. So in my world, it was just like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not cool. But now we have a 1,000-watt amp. Woo! Challenger. It's gonna be another amplifier order, and it sits on the shelf.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Challenger.
Yes.
2016 Harman Kardon system.
Yeah.
Should I go with the LC2i and the Kicker KX401, pushing 110 P310? And what wires should I tap into? Should I disconnect the factory 10-inch sub in the trunk?
Okay, so there's multiple ways you can do this. The way you're describing is going to keep the bass roll off in the car and cause you issues, meaning that when you're trying to get down and boogie, because you got to remember, it was only made to power that little tiny crappy speaker in the rear deck, and that's it. And that has bass roll off. Bass roll off is, if you don't know, is as you're turning up the volume, you notice your mids and highs get louder, but your subwoofer just kind of plateaus and doesn't get any more louder. If you add a subwoofer in there, it's going to do the same exact thing because you're using that signal to drive it. Now you can do something like add a kicker key lock in there, or you can use something like an LC2i, and the key lock will have loudness and the LC2i will have AccuBass, which you can dial it in. But how we would do that is we would use an Amp Pro CH41, so APCH41, which is going to allow us to plug into the back of the radio with a T-harness and give us 6 channels of 4-volt preamp level output. It's not a high level to low level adapter. It literally turns your factory radio and gives us a preamp. Just a minute ago, someone asked about Sub-Amp Pro. That will be out here shortly, and that's what that is designed for. Exactly what you're doing is that you just T-harness it in, and then you get a variable voltage RCA output. That is going to eliminate the bass roll-off because you're coming off of the preamp section of the radio into this device and getting a real output. So you won't have bass roll-off, you won't have any fake engine noise, you won't have any blah, blah, none of that stuff. It'll sound wonderful. So if we're going to do your car, we're selling you the Amp Pro and then whatever amplifier you want, and we're done. As a matter of fact, we did that several times this week. It was kind of amusing.
All right. Subaru Crosstech. I'm sorry, 14 Subaru Crosstech. Mids and highs are cutting out randomly from my DMX 905S. The installers say it's time for a new stereo. Any thoughts?
What's cutting out?
The sounds.
The sound cuts out?
Yeah. So I don't think. Well, it might be the radio, but I think it's one of those like if you is shorting out maybe one speaker. If you replace the speakers, it's a DMX.
Well, DMX, if one speaker shorts out, you get the warning on the radio. So Pioneer just drops everything. Kenwood goes to amp short detector.
Light protection, yes.
If it's not doing any of that, then it's something else that's the problem.
Right.
The question on the 2010 Camaro, if you'd like to know more information about that car, we do have a whole series on that. It's the same car I have with the Boston Acoustic Stereo. Check out the playlist Car Stereo Lab, and specifically where we talk about the Alpine PXE 0850S. We integrate that in, but we kind of talk about the whole car. That car has a variable voltage output coming out of the radio, so basically a preamp that goes into the factory Boston Acoustic Stereo. So it's super sexy. We walk you through it, and from there you can add anything you want, like amplifiers and stuff like that. I would recommend going with a new radio because my Link sucks, but you know, CarPlay is way better, and it's a 10-year-old car, almost 11, so it's time to upgrade.
All right, let me see. Oh, that's what you replied to.
Yes.
I just installed the Sony.
I find it funny that you have a laptop in front of you that
8050.
you can see so much better on, but you still stare at your phone.
Man.
It's the joys of being young and being able to still see with your eyeballs.
Okay, so that's not a question. It's just like he installed the Sony and the new 3 Series BMW. He had the 80PRS previously. Cool. Now he have to install the Tweak 88. Awesome.
He's tweaking.
Hey guys, what subs would you recommend for loud and hard hitting bass? Thanks.
Loud and hard hitting bass. I don't know. I mean, they're all loud and hard hitting bass. I mean, that's really kind of one of those things.
A good box?
It's the box, man. You want a good box. The box, if you don't buy a good box or make a good box or do good box, you could have the most amazing subwoofer you in the world in there, and it's just gonna suck. And there again, if you're not into making your own boxes, this is the great thing right now. There are so many awesome guys out there making amazing boxes. Like, I can never remember his name, but the dude at Down for Sound that makes boxes for them, like, we had one of those come through the other day, and I was just like, we're friends on Facebook, so I was like, dude, I love this box. This is freaking awesome. So there's plenty of places out there that will make nice boxes, and like places like A-Trend, they make boxes for existing subwoofers. Like, they have Alpine boxes, they have JL boxes, they have DD audio boxes. So there's a lot of boxes out there now. It's just a matter of finding the box and then going from there. And then getting power.
Alright, Sony GS9 is the best head unit. When will Sony put the same tech in the DSP? Also, if you have the GS9, will you really need a DSP?
Yes. They're two totally different things. Oh, did you hear about one of the big, I think it's somebody that supplies, a company in Japan that supplies a lot of the manufacturers with the chips to build DACs burned down last night. The building was a 5-story building. It burned for 3 days.
When did you find out about that?
PS Audio, the guy that owns PS Audio puts out a daily email thing, blast, and he gives it, just like inspirational audio stuff. I don't know how he does it. Because it's so much work. I'm like, and every day he's got good stuff to say. But today was a sad day, and he was like, yeah, the place burned for 3 days, but it's going to take 6 months to get this facility back up and running. So I see DACs being hurting, because apparently a lot of companies get their DACs from this place.
But back to the question.
A DAC, a digital audio converter, is nothing to do with a DSP. Does the radio have DSP characteristics to it?
Yeah.
In the very basic sense. It has an EQ, it has subwoofer level control, it has crossovers, it has all the things that every single radio in that category would have, all the basic stuff. But what it doesn't have is a big ass EQ. And by that, I mean 31 bands, multiple channels. The radio still has 6 preamp outputs, and that's fine. It just depends what you're going for.
Yeah, correct.
But it is the first best building block for you to build a stereo from, if that's what you're trying to build. I mean, if you're trying to build some SQ, or you're just a right column shopper that wants the best, thank you, then that's a great building block to come out of, because it's going to get you an awesome source. Is there other things you can get awesome sources from? Of course there is, but not like this. So from there, you can go into a DSP. You're going to use the RCAs, not anything else. But I don't see Sony building that into an amplifier anytime. That was one of those pieces that they were just like, I think I can build this. And they're like, you know what? You got a weekend, maybe a couple weekends. Go for it, Tommy. Have fun. And that's not his name. And he did. It was like, hey. And that's one more thing Sony can say. We built this Saber DAC into a 12-volt environment. No one else has. Deuces, we're out.
Gerard, he put $20. Thank you so much. Any general advice for 2015? What happened?
Fang of Truth, adopt a DAC today. They lost their home.
Wow.
Oh, God, you guys are the best, man. Thanks for making me laugh.
All right. Any general advice for 2015 hardtop Miata for top-down performance? stock Bose system. It's really fatiguing quickly. Can do my own pillars, but never mess with a convertible.
I can tell you that obviously when it comes to Miata, we've had a handful of them come through here in different states of just really what we've done in the past is just gone with the Kenwood Exelon's 7-inch components. Every time we get a Miata in, that's kind of like the go-to solution for that car. We haven't played with one in a while since we've been doing that now. It depends if it's got the 8-inch in the door or the 7.6 in the door. If it's the smaller speaker,
8-inch.
If it's the smaller speaker, that's why we'd always go with the Kenwoods. But now, if it does have the bigger 8, there is a lot more manufacturers that have 8-inch speakers to go into those situations. So like Focal has their integration line of 8-inch tweeter combination, which gets you that nice bright access tweeter along with an 8-inch mid bass. Audison has it in the Prima line, so that you don't have to you don't need a boatload of power to get them up and dance. That is a silk tweeter, so those are kind of two separate animals as far as like the sound goes. And then you have if you want to go crazy money, then you can look at like either getting into like an Audio Frog. They have an 8-inch mid bass for the door, but you have to team it up with a middler, so you'd have to be able to put a 2-inch mid range in there because the gap is too far. Or you could also 9-inch. Morel has a 9-inch, but that I don't think.
Yeah, but
that would be a good
I feel
idea.
that it's a convertible driving.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think,
would go with
I think one of those
Hertz.
first 3 alternatives. Well, Hertz doesn't make an 8-inch.
No, but
They used to make a 7-inch large, but I would go Kenwood, or I would look at either the Prima or the Focal.
I don't know.
If you're not looking for,
it's like
Lamb may offer something. I don't know their full catalog, so. Okay, next.
All right.
What do you got? I think there's some money things we have to address here.
I'm trying to find it.
All right, so we got Abraham.
Danny.
What do you
Danny
got?
first.
Okay.
Danny Dan, $4.99. I have an A-trim box specifically made for 2 Rockford P3s. They sound good in the box. Oh, that was it.
So my A-Trend story is funny. So the guys that own A-Trend are Indian. Paul, if you didn't know, he's Indian too, and from India. And so we're walking around. I think it was in Daytona, because that's the only show we've ever gone to with him. We're walking around Daytona, and Indian people like to have an American name, and which is whatever. It's because their names are sometimes hard to say. So they walk up, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Bob. Hey, I'm Paul." And he goes, "What's your real name?" And I'm of course just standing there, the silly white guy in the conversation, and they're carrying back and forth, and they're telling each other their home stories, and I'm just kind of like slowly because anyway, it was funnier in my head. All right, go on.
All right, Ibrahim, he dropped $10 for the 2020 Ram with a 5-inch screen and with the amplifier under the driver's seat.
It's not the
non-premium.
Yeah.
Will the Ampro CH41R1 work, or do I need the CH41R2? And do I need the gray LGDs, right?
All right, so here's the deal. With the 5-inch screen, it's not going to work. That particular product doesn't work on a 5-inch screen of the Dodge Ram, I don't think. However, couple things with this. For one, you can do a DSR1. So you can do the DSR1 with the DCH3, and then you're also going to need the BCH3 for bypass CH3. The box that's underneath the seat in the Dodge Ram in the basic system is not an amplifier. It is the ANC module, or automatic noise canceling.
Where is the ANC module?
So what you need to do is you can plug the DSR1 in, and you can plug the DCH3 in, and then underneath the seat is this little guy here that'll loop past the ANC module, and you'll be all good to go. Now, Amp Pro makes the same exact thing for theirs as well. So there you go. I would do that. I would do the DSR1 and that combination. It's about the same amount of money as the Amp Pro, And
so
you get the DSP.
It lists
the 5-inch.
No,
it's the size of the screen that matters. Because I could have swore the 5-inch screen was not covered by the. It's gonna be in like there. It's gonna be like buried in.
See, and I'm trying to get in the.
You're never gonna find it because it's in like the fine print and silly stuff. It's like okay. Anyways.
All right.
Isaac.
Right. $9.99. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Oh, really? You dropped money too?
No. Huh. Oh, here we go. Snickers with white chocolate or almonds? Took you long enough to come up with a good question.
Snickers with white chocolates. But almonds, they really good.
I gotta be honest, when it comes to Snickers, I'm a factory guy, but I prefer, if I have the choice, I'm gonna go with Milky Way Dark. Like, we have Milky Way Darks in the refrigerator, always. Because Milky Way Darks are the bomb.
Alright, I have two 6-channel jail amplifiers. I want to connect 12 speakers, 1 speaker per channel. But the Twig 80A only has 8 outputs. It is necessary to add a 12-channel DSP. Or how can I do it?
All right, so here would be the question for that. Turn this back off. Sorry. When you're trying to figure out which DSP you should buy, so for example, like a Tweak 88, we have to figure out what these 12 channels are going to do first. If we're gonna do, let's say, tweeter, mid bass, tweeter, mid bass, or center, so where everything is going, are we gonna have any like pairs? Meaning, are we gonna have something that has, so are we gonna do like pods that have a tweeter and a mid-range? Because if you have a pods that have tweeter and a mid-range, technically that could be one channel output of the DSP, because you could put a passive between the tweeter and the mid-range. As far as time alignment goes, they're going to be the same distance, so you don't necessarily need to have that. You don't need to worry about adding the delay there, and you just set the crossover for the bottom of the mid-range, then you put passives on those fronts. So that's how a factory would do it, and it's a perfectly acceptable way in the aftermarket world too. That would eliminate the need for 2 more channels. So it really just depends, what is going on. So let's say you're going to have 2 mid-bass in the door. So let's say mid-bass 1, mid-bass 2. There again, those could be 1 channel. The delay is going to be very similar because we're talking maybe an inch, split the difference. If you're going to be doing a full active system where everything is going to be like a tweeter, a mid-bass, and then you're going to be doing a center, and you're going to be doing rear, maybe bi-amp the rear speakers. So use those as just rear and run them bi-amped mode through passives. Or the amplifier may have the ability to do active bandpass crossovers on them. So these are things you can do to kind of move stuff around. However, at the end of the day, if you do need a 12-channel DSP, I can tell you right now, the best priced 12-channel DSP is going to be the Alpine PXE 0850S. Because it is 12 channels of output, 6 channels of input, and you can't beat the price on it. Hey, and it uses very similar software as the Dayton. Whatever.
All right.
So yeah, that's. Hope that helps.
All right. Bob Fisher, he dropped $10.
Hold on, before you get into that, Dean, you gotta try a Milky Way clone that they offer and sell at Trader Joe's. It'll change your life. I will let Haley know. She loves Trader Joe's. Thank you for the tip. Go ahead.
All right. 89 vet, kicker 200.4 with a Hertz 6.5 components. Should I run it by amp or at rear fill? Or is the amplifier bridgeable?
I'll take those in reverse order. The kicker key is not bridgeable. Yes, oh, I'm sorry. No, you should not do rear fill in that car. And yes, you should do it bi-amped. That would be simple. That was an easy one. Thank you. Finally. Thank you. Threw me a softball. Underhand. You ever seen those girls do that, man? Is that just not scream of... You ever watch fast-paced softball?
Yeah.
Like those, the girl? Yeah. It's like, you're like, how does she do that? Like, it just makes... I watch this show and my shoulder hurts. Yeah, you're
I would be like, oh, wow, the ball went. Anyway, Ibram, he dropped another $5. I will
I just realized I've drank this whole thing and it just tastes so terrible.
I will call back on Monday and let you know. Thanks. About the Dodge Ram.
I can tell you right now, it is in the instructions. If you dig into the webpage, the answer to that question is there.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to wait till Monday, just do some reading. It's crazy, but it is there. The information is there. But either way, I would still do the DSR one.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let's see. There is a volleyball player.
Softball playing women are so hot. I'm gonna just leave that for you. Oh, you guys are terrible. Which sub you think is better for SQ and moving air? DD or an MT? So 15 or a 15? Man. Well, I mean, the size of the woofer. All right. There again, like we were talking, I keep saying there again. When we were talking earlier about the subwoofer box, that is really what's going to decide whether it's going to be pounding the back of your head off or sounding good for sound quality. Kicker was talking about Gary Bell, how he had 2 Solo X18s free air in his sound quality car.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Because that sounded the best. And these are Solo X18s, for God's sakes. But they were free air, which means they had limited amount of excursion, and they, as long as they had enough power and they could have the frequency response that he was looking for, then that solved the problem. Most frequency responses on the woofers are like, yeah, from this frequency to that frequency, which is like, they'll all play sound quality. It's the box that decides what it's going to do. So you have to figure out, okay, I don't necessarily need it tuned to 23 hertz because I want it to be more sound quality, so you might want to go a little higher. There again, what is going to sound good? Years ago, when Image Dynamic was all the rage, they had their Hex series lines of woofers. It was this giant woofer with this Neo magnet. It was so beautiful. And they had these transmission line boxes that you would build for them. And you're like, oh, hell yes. So guy came in, says, yo, man, I want a box for 215s in the back of my Tahoe. I want one of them ID transmission line boxes. Perfect. We'll build it. Okay, built it, put in some hip hop, and this thing was just like, blah, blah. I was like, oh my good lord, this is insane. First thing he does when he gets in there is he puts it in, he plays some like country stuff or some Steely Dan, just some like off the wall stuff. And it was like, what are you doing? He goes, this is what I listen to. I'm like, not with this box you do. It literally sounded like it went from 215s to a 10. It was horrible. I mean, horrible, because there was a miscommunication somewhere between there. He didn't really know what he wanted. He just saw somebody else wanted it and was like, do this. And we're like, okay. And no. So when you're deciding on the woofer, decide on the box first. And then take it from there. So maybe call them up and say, hey, what does this woofer do in a sound quality environment in a sealed enclosure? What can I expect? And then, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you do, you're just going to end up with a porta box that sound good with everything. Okay? Not great with everything, just good with everything.
All right. Do they make an amp pro for the basic stock stereo on a 2020 Toyota Camry?
No. Toyota? No, nobody does. Toyota is going to be straight, just going to be straight, whatever. But iData does make this. So iData makes this right here, which is the DTO1, which is the closest thing you're going to get to anything like that. What this is, though, is just a T-harness to either add in a DSR1 or an AR going to a product that either works with the DSR1 or the Amp Pro. So the easiest way to do it, I guess, I would say, is the DTO1 with the DSR1 on it. You can go to idatalink.com and see if it works on your car. But there's no, on the Toyotas, unlike the Fords, the Dodge, unlike the American cars, if it's not there, it's not there. With those, you can reprogram or just do all kinds of weird things and get that signal. Not on the Toyotas.
Thanks, Kyle Johnson, for the $5. And Ibram, the CH41 doesn't work. I check on the website, it says for 7 and 8 inch.
Yeah, so definitely go over and, like we said, iData, see what they got. I'm pretty sure the 5-inch will work. We've had that conversation. Time is ticking down, Mr. Truth.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
I have a DSR-1 on my factory 2019 Nissan Titan stereo. I purchased a DMX 1057XR to replace it. Should I keep the DSR-1 connected or use the new radio DSP?
No, keep the DSR-1 connected. Pull the DSR-1, reflash it for, standalone, put in your Kenwood, and totally use your DSR-1. Oh, God, yes. Trust me, right now I'm running my 1057 into my Alpine DSP. I love it. I was telling Fernando this morning I got here early, which is like every day, but I didn't have a phone call or anything like that to make, which was spectacular. And I just sat in my car and was listening to music, and I was playing with the new parametric EQ on my system because, like we've said before, it's all DSP, so it's all time alignment, it's all done what it needs to, but I use my EQ to do the salt and pepper. It's like you cook a great steak, but you still have to put some stuff on it, right? I'm not a steak eater, I'm just assuming. I mean, just like I like barbecue sauce in my chicken. It's just you need something. So it's nice to be able to go in there and just like tweak it, just a tad. Depending on like some music I was listening to, I was listening to classic. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Heavy Metal. They have I can't even think of the name. Take a Ride on Heavy Metal. Anyway, it's not the Sammy Hagar song. It's another one. I was just jamming out to that. It's just laid back, awesome song, and I went in there and I was like bumping up the parametric EQ, just having some fun with it, just seeing what I can do, what more I can get out of these cheap ass factory Boston acoustic speakers. And I'm going, it's amazing what power and DSP will do. And actually, I was thinking about like that being the opening of today's show, was just talking about like just add a damn DSP to your car. Yeah. That's all you need. In my car, it was. It's like, this sounds so amazing.
So I checked in Maestro, and for the Dodge Ram, they don't make nothing.
They don't list it either?
No, nothing. Not at all.
Amplifier replacement.
Yeah, no, I know, but like, they don't...
You gotta go to RAM. You gotta go to RAM. You gotta go to RAM.
I was gonna say. Dodge.
Yeah, it's not in Dodge. It's not a 2020.
It's a 2020.
Is it a 2020? Yeah, 1500 right there.
1500. Select without... No.
Yeah,
with
bottom
amplifier.
One. Without amplifier, and yeah, it's right there. I'm telling you, it does. It's
He has an amplifier. Oh.
Yeah, with active noise canceling. Yeah. That's exactly what he has. So Fernando, of course, isn't listening, but yeah, so a 2020 RAM without amplifier, without active noise canceling.
The noise canceling module.
But I think if you go back one, there was that option right here. Without amplifier with active noise canceling module. So there you go.
AR, DSR one.
Because I think Mr. Mark Rutledge and I had this debate one day, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, we do it."
Yeah.
So,
$5.
I think iData is your solution for this.
How much is a full system? Depends what kind of full system.
$10,000 on a Tuesday. 15 on a Wednesday. Don't ask me about Monday. I don't know. A full system, asking a question like that is relative to what you're trying to do. Anything as simple as, are you keeping the factory radio? Are we integrating into the factory radio? A lot of people think if they keep the factory radio, then I don't have to pay for the radio. Well, now you have to pay for the integration, though. And integration can be just as expensive as the radio, as we're talking about Amp Pros via DSR1 or AR or Zen or anything like that. Those modules are anywhere between, let's say, on the conservative side, $200 to $500. So that's the price of the new radio. However, adding a new radio to some of these cars can get to be $500 just for the integration side, depending on what type of dash kit, interface, and all the little accessories you need to get all those things to work. So right off the bat, you have to figure out how you're going to make it work. So the product sometimes is the cheapest part. Like you can get into a radio for, let's say, like an inexpensive double DIN radio for $300.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost you another $300 to $400 just for the parts to put it in your car. So you say, I don't want to do that. All right, so is it something we can integrate into? Well, something as simple as an LC7i, or if we want to go full DSP, we still have to integrate into it. So, or we go with an amplifier that has an integrated circuit built into it, which is fine. So if you look at like an LC 4800 or an LC 61200, you know, or any of the audio control products, maybe an ACM product. Maybe you're going to just do a kicker key. So there's a lot of things that play there. See you, Jason. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, sir.
And then you have speakers, and then it really depends on the integration and the size of the amplifiers we're using. So there's a lot to consider.
El Fernandez, how you doing, buddy?
1 million.
Roberto from Audio Control. Remember Roberto?
Yes.
Over there in Mexico with O'Hara.
Yes.
He talked about you guys very highly last night. Last night, Ricardo from Munster is doing a training.
Oh, it was a training?
Yeah, they do it. I think today is the last day that they're going to do.
That was when El Fernandez was going to go.
Yes, and he would, of course, they're there. So, hey, shout out to Ricardo over there in Munster. And
if you guys don't follow him on Instagram or YouTube.
Yes, and
I would do
Roberto.
Instagram because YouTube, if you don't speak Spanish, you kind of get lost in the translation. I mean, I watch it and I just turn the volume down.
And it's like, this is so nice.
Exactly.
No, but like what he does and everything, just
Master Rangel.
Master by Rangel. Hey,
Master by Rangel.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, it's been a fun night. It's Saturday. It's Halloween. There's trick or treating and all kinds of fun things to do.
I'm going to.
When folks used to gawk at 60. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Anyways, let's of course. Oh, hey, I didn't want to do that. There we go. Let me get over to this page before I break my laptop here, or at least screw things up. All right, so let's do the DNF Tool Drawer is a place you can go to find all the cool tools we do our installations with. If you guys have never been to this place, if you're new to the channel, make sure you head over here. If you're trying to find cool things like tools like meters and probes, hand tools, lighting. So like you're like, wow, I've seen that coool light bar you guys use. That's pretty neat. Riveting tools, power tools, air tools, installation stuff. This is a real popular one. This is where we put a lot of the things you guys ask about, like what type of heat shrink, flexi loom, router bits, capacitors. All that fun stuff is all located here, and you can click to Amazon to buy it. Of course, earlier in the show we talked about my favorite place, which is Teespring, teespring.com/store/5star. You can pick up cool shirts like the Vote for Fernando, Making America Bass Again, or any other of a half dozen other cool shirts that we have. We just dropped a bunch of new hoodies a couple weeks back. If you follow some of the guys on Instagram, on Facebook, a couple guys have gotten them. Mm-hmm. But it's, in my opinion, one of the nicest ones we've come out with. You can also get in a t-shirt if you live here in Florida where it very rarely gets cold. But this is pretty cool. Fernando picked the colors, of course. He's a big Washington fan. But yeah, you can get it. We made a bunch of different colors available, and you can pick up a T-shirt for
$20.
I think it's something like that. Why doesn't it tell me how much? Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, something like $20.
Hey,
so
whatever.
Really
$20
reasonable.
Is $20,
guys. Anyways. That's the show, guys.
Yeah, Clean Wire Club, of course, if you guys want to be part of it. Don't forget Dean and Fernando, car stereo clips.
If you're going to be a part of a car stereo 12-volt Clean Wire Club, make sure you put up some clean wire.
And put you...
You know, if you're going to complain about it, you know who you are. Let's see your wiring. Don't complain. You can't complain unless you're putting up pictures. That should be a rule. If you're going to bitch about something, then you should have something to back it up. Too many people just complain and they have, it's like you didn't even
man, it's just
anyways,
having fun.
Car stereo clips is definitely YouTube. If you guys ask a bunch of questions like this, we take this, we put it over on Dean and Fernandez Car Stereo Clips. Also, every Friday at 9 o'clock we do the news there. We take 4 awesome stories, sometimes 5, and we talk all about them, and it's all news about 12 volts, car stereos and fun stuff like that. If you've never seen it, well, that's a good enough reason to head over to Dean and Fernandez Car Stereo Clips and join the fun. It's a half-hour show right at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, live. Just like this, we get to sit down, drink our morning frappuccinos. I mean, I had a Dunkin' Cup once, and I'm surprised when I had the Dunkin' Cup. Someone was like, "Dean's drinking coffee." It was a frosted hot chocolate. I don't drink coffee. Anyways, listen, you guys. Happy Halloween if you celebrate it. If you don't, happy October 31st. It's Saturday night. It's the night we've all been waiting for. Go out tonight, have a good time, and I don't have to tell you, I don't want to see you on the roads tonight. Don't be doing dumb stuff. If you're going to party, party safe. Uber, Lyft, they're cheap. Be safe, guys. It's a crazy world out there. And we'll see you back here Monday on Facebook for the longest talk show about car audio in the history of car audio talk shows. We've been doing that thing for years. Oh my God. That's why we keep doing it, honestly. You guys have a great night. We'll see you later.
Bye.